All right, in this tutorial, we're going to go over how to evaluate integers that are being raised to rational exponents. Remember, rational is another word for ratio or fraction. So you're going to have all of your exponents that are going to be set up as fractions. So whenever you have an integer, a whole number is integer, that is raised to an exponent that is a fraction, you can rearrange that problem into a radical. And how it's going to be set up is the numerator stays as the exponent of your actual integer, but then your denominator becomes what's called the index of your radical. So for example, when you have x to the a over b power, the a stays as the exponent of your integer, and then when you take the root of that number, the b becomes your index. So let's say we have x to the 5 over 2 power. You rewrite that as the root of your x. That still has the 5 as the exponent of this, and 2 is your index. So 2 is square root. 3 would be a cube root, or you would find a number that is multiplying 3 times to get that number. 4 would be just fourth root, and then so on and so forth. And then anything underneath the radical symbol, you would just simplify that as normal. So 1 to the 1/3 power can be rewritten as the third root, since the 3 is our denominator, of 1 to the 1 power, which 1 to the 1 power is just 1. And then you would find, since it's a whole number, you would find the a number that would be multiplying times itself to be equal to 1, and in this case, it is equal to 1. Now for 256 raised to the 5 over 4 power, you would have 256 to the 5th power, and then you would be taking the fourth root of that. Anytime that you would have a variable, it would just simply be written like this. You would not have to simplify or do anything else to get it down to that number. But 256 to the 5th power, and then the fourth root of that. Let me get my calculator out. (256) raised to the 5th power, and then the fourth root of that could be simplified to 1024. Okay, and there are separate functions that you can find the fourth root power of, or you could type this directly into your calculator as 5 over 4 for your exponent. But that's just another way that you could be rewriting these terms, is to rewrite it into a radical form. Sometimes it's easier to represent. In this second case specifically, though, it is easier to type this directly into a calculator with the fraction as your radical, and it would just be typed in like this. 256, and then you would push the caret button, which is the up arrow, start a parentheses, top number divided by the bottom number would be the way that you type this specific expression into a calculator. Third root, there is a separate function where you would hit the math button and then scroll over to find the third root. And it just looks like this. And you would type in that number underneath, simplify it all the way down, and then just make sure that when you have these integers that you're simplifying everything down. Anything in a variable, though, you just have to keep it in positive exponents.